Welcome back to the Crochet Criss Cross, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today's the One Skein Baby Blanket using one skein of Caron 1 Pound yarn, just like you see the label here. So what we need today is a size K, a 6.5mm crochet hook, and a size J 6mm crochet hook. We only need one ball of Caron 1 Pound, and this is going to be using the Criss Cross Stitch, and let's get after it right now. So let's begin. I'm gonna improvise from the pattern a little bit. It says to chain 94. I want you to chain either 93 or 95. Do an odd number in that, and I'm just gonna change something slightly to make it a little bit easier for you. If you're going to just alter the size, then just chain in an odd number. So for example, I'm only gonna chain 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So either chain to 93 or 95, and meet me back here in just a moment. So I've only chained 13, so it's an odd number, so I want to single crochet second chain from the hook. So if you chained across, make sure that you did an odd number so that you can single crochet starting from the second chain on the back hump of the chain all the way back down the chain to the very beginning. So just single crochet in the back hump of your chain all the way to the beginning, and I'll see you there in just a moment. Once you get all the way down the long end of your chain, I want you to turn your work, and we're gonna start row number 2. So this is where I'm improvising in the pattern. It's only in this one stitch right now. So it says to chain 2, but I want you to chain 3, and that will count as a stitch. It says to chain 2 does not count as a stitch. I want you to chain 3 and count it as a stitch. Now what I want you to do is skip the next one, and we're gonna go to the second over it. We're gonna create a crisscross. So we're gonna wrap the hook first and go skip the first one, go to the second, and double crochet. Now you want to get to the stitch that you just missed. So wrapping the hook, just bend the project forward and get the stitch that you skipped. And insert in, pull through 2 and 2. If you're new to crochet, this is somewhat awkward in the very beginning if you don't know how to do this, but I tell you, I've been doing this a long time and it doesn't get that hard. So what I want you to do is do another one. So skip the next one and double crochet in the second one after that. So just go to the first one and then just go into the one that you skipped. So just wrap the hook, bend it, okay, and then go into the one that you skipped. Okay, so these are called the crisscross. So you're gonna do another one. So skip the next one, double crochet in the second one after that, and then come into the one that you skipped. So just bending it forward, and you will get used to the motion, especially if you do a whole project like this. So skip the next one, second one over, you're going to crisscross. So I'm gonna speed up a little bit, and I'll show you what is gonna be happening on the end. It's actually really simple. Because I had you chain in an odd number, there's an even number of stitches here, and everything is working in multiples of 2. So you should be left with 1 stitch left over at the end, and you will just single crochet in that one, and this is row number 2. So if you look at it, you single crochet, the chain 3 counts as a single crochet, and then you crisscrossed in the middle, and then you single crocheted at the end. Let's turn our work and do row number 3. So row number 3 is always gonna be the same. Simple is just chain up 1 and just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going across. So we're just gonna do that. This single crochet really makes those crisscrossing really pop out really quite beautifully. I love these two combinations together of the single crochet and the crisscross. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way across, and your last stitch will be in the turning chain, not to a gap space, but in the chain work itself, in the turning chain and single crochet. So that was row 2 and 3. So now we just have to repeat rows 2 and 3 a total of 33 times. So it's a total of 66 rows when you think about it. To start again, you just chain 3. There's your first there's your first double crochet. So you're gonna skip the next one, go to the second one over, and start your crisscrosses again. So double crochet, and then going back and get the one that you skipped. So just bend the project forward, and then you can see it, and double crochet so that you have a crisscross. So skip the next one, crisscross. So you keep crisscrossing all the way over, and you will end when you finally get to the size that you need. You can do any size that you wish. This is a one skein baby blanket, so it tells you to only use one skein, but you can go as big as you need to. I've given you the secrets of changing the yarn chain counts to be an odd number so that you can change anything that you wish. So what's gonna happen is that you are gonna end on row number 3 at the very final end, which I'm about to show you once again. So you just double crochet in the final turn, so you just chain up 1 and then just single crochet across. So I want you to repeat this the number of times that it states in the pattern, or to when you're satisfied. And what we're gonna cover next is how to do your very final border going all the way around this thing. So let's begin to do that in just a moment and get your project done. You'll put me on hold at this time. Go and do your project, and then we'll do the border together here on camera. So let's begin to do our border. So I want you to turn. We just finished on number 3. Turn your work, and we're gonna do our border, and we're just gonna chain 1, which I've already done technically, and I'm just going to single crochet myself across the top. So the border, what happens is that tops and the bottoms have the stitch work. You know exactly where to go, but the sides you don't know where to go, and you just have to equally space those to make those look good. So once you get to the final side, the final stitch here, to turn the corner, you're gonna place in 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And now you're just gonna move down the side. So just roughly space those out. So just single crochet. Don't go into a major gap space. Always stay within the stitch work itself, and just equally space all the way down your project. And then when you get to the base of that, how are you gonna turn the corner? If you guess 3 single crochets in the end, that's right. So 3 singles will get you to turn perfectly. And then what we'll do is that we'll move along the bottom. So just continuing along, so it's now upside down. So my last stitch here on the bottom, I'm just gonna put 3 more single crochets to allow myself to turn, and then I'm just gonna work my way up the other side, and then we're gonna eventually hit back to where we had started. So it's just a rough guess kinda how things go into the side here. Some people like to be very consistent. You know, it's hard to do that sometimes in crochet. Sometimes your best guess is all that you have. On your very final stitch here, you're going to place in, there's already 1 there, so you're just gonna place in 2 double crochets only. So 1 and 2, and join it to the very first one with a slip stitch. And then we're gonna move on to the picot edging. So this is what it looks like at this moment, and then what we're gonna do then is picot edging next. For the picot edging, really quite simple. You're gonna chain up 1, and you're gonna do a single crochet in the same one, and then you are going to apply a chain 1 and single crochet back into the same one. That's it. So skip the next stitch and do the same thing in the next one after that. So it's gonna be single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Skip the next one, go to the second one over, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. I want you to do that all the way around. You don't have to count stitches, you just have to just place that in, and when it comes to the corners you just have to just keep following the corner. You don't have to do anything special with the corners. It's just gonna follow it around. See? And that's good to go. So please do that all the way around, and that's the picot edging, and that will conclude today's tutorial on how to do this one skein blanket. It's actually really quite simple. Now eventually you're gonna come back all the way around, and you're gonna end up right where you wanted to, right in the beginning, and you're just gonna slip stitch. Once you get over to there, then you are just going to trim your work and place the remaining stitch or the remaining yarn into a tapestry needle. Now because this is for babies or anybody, you want to put it in a tapestry needle and weave in your ends in and out. So just dragging it underneath the stitch work. Just go in one direction and then back in the other for 2, and back in the other direction for the 3rd time as a charm. So back and forth, then it never falls out on you, and then that's good to go. So this is how you do your one skein baby blanket. You can just stretch it and etc. to go. You may want to do that with your starting end as well, hiding it in. I buried it as I went because I'm kind of did it without mentioning anything, but this would be a smaller sample, and then you just have to shape it and you're good to go. So this is the One Skein Baby Blanket by Yarn Inspirations. We'll see you again real soon. It's Mikey.